In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a reflected ceiling plan sheet. And so we're going to begin by placing the RCP view on the sheet, how to place it and move it around, and then we're going to just add preliminary annotations to the sheet. So you may hear me refer to this view as an RCP, and that stands for Reflected Ceiling Plan, which is what you would see if you were to lay on the floor and look up, although it is up to the designer to decide whether or not he or she is just going to show what you would see if you lay it on the floor and looked up at the ceiling, or if you wanted to add additional components like electrical outlets and data outlets and things like that. So for right now, you'll hear me say RCP. Revit refers to these as ceiling plans, and you can see over here on the left-hand side, I've selected level 2 floor plan, and I'm going to rename this first, and I'm going to call it Reflected Ceiling Plan and Electrical Plan, because I'm going to add some electrical elements to it as well. So we'll go ahead and change the name. I'm going to change that. So I'll just double click and it'll change. Yes. And so what you're seeing right now is actually the floor plan itself, and you're seeing what it would look like if you looked up at the ceiling. Now this part right here is going to be, it's probably the underside of the floor, because we may have just put a basic ceiling on, but let's take a look at that in a moment. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to drag this view onto the sheet that has been created in our sheet set for the reflected ceiling plan. You can see it's right here ready to go. And I'm going to drag this view over. Okay, so it's coming in at 1/8 inch scale, you can see right here. And the thing is that even though I really like it at this scale, we are going to be placing a legend on this side. So I'm going to have to move this and condense it, and the scale may come down slightly. The first thing I'm going to do is just change this text box if I can. I might have to do it in the family. Hold on. The first thing I'm going to do is change this text box so that it's got enough room for this drawing title. So let's see if I'm going to have to mess with that a little bit more. I'm going to leave it for right now and circle back to that. What I am going to do though is hide some of these elements in the view, because I don't want to show the grid and the section tags and all that other stuff in here, because it's going to take away space that we're going to need for the legend, and also it's going to it's not really relevant right now. So let's go ahead and hide some of these things. Okay, and I'm going to move this plan over, because again, we're going to have that legend there eventually. And I'm going to move this up. And I'm going to add a north arrow. And I'm just kind of tweaking my graphic standards just a little bit, knowing, of course, that things can quickly change. But let me go ahead back to that view and let's take a look and see. It looks like we're seeing the underside of the ceiling. So let me just grab this and we'll be sure. So that's the acoustical ceiling tile. Now we should see some grid pattern on here. So I'm going to take a section tag and see what's going on. And of course I hid those in view, so it's not going to show it to me, but I know it's this section right here. So that ceiling that was selected should be this one. So why we're not able to see the grid might have something to do with the visibility settings. So let me take a look. I'm wondering if maybe the setting is fine or coarse instead of fine. Let's take a look. I'm going to pause this for a minute and see. The grid it looks like is showing up, but that's awfully small. So let me pause it and see what's going on. Okay, so I realized that the reason why my ceiling looked funny was just because it wasn't working for whatever reason. So all I did was just delete this existing ceiling that we had drawn earlier and redrew it. So if you go to this view, if yours looks like mine or is behaving in some other weird way, all you have to do is just redraw the ceiling. So I'm going to do that right now. And we're going to change it from gypsum wallboard to a 2x2. And there it is. And it looks just fine. So the first thing you do if something doesn't look the way you want it is just, if you can't tell and everything looks right when you take different views, just go ahead and delete it and redraw it. So I've got my acoustical ceiling tile showing up. We have placed the RCP view onto the sheet, and we've added just very basic preliminary annotations. So when complete, your sheet should look like this.